There, how are you doing? In the previous videos, we talked about list, we talked about loops, and we discussed a great deal of things. Now, in this video, we will learn about other things related to Python. Now, let's talk about simple statistics with a list of numbers. Sometimes you need, to find the minimum number or the maximum number of a list, and you also need to sum those numbers, which is quite easy, which is not that difficult. A few Python functions are helpful when working with list of numbers. For example, you can easily find the minimum, maximum, and sum of a list of numbers. Let's suppose we have digits, and I have digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 0, 11. Okay, let's suppose I have this list. Now if I want to find the minimum of this list, I simply have to insert this function minimum digits, and I just have to enter, just have to run the code to see, and you can see that minimum of this list is 0. And let's say that if I want to find the maximum of this list, let me find the maximum of this list, and if I press enter, you can see that there is an error because wrong spelling. Now let me run it again. You can see that uh, maximum is 34. Okay, let me do it here so that you understand it very well. Let me find its maximum, and you can see that the maximum value in the list is 34. Now if I want to sum the list, which is, you just have to use the sum command, and you just have to run it, and you can see that the sum of the list is 101. It means that all these numbers are summed up and its total is 101. Okay, you can add further more numbers, uh, anything you want to add, you can just keep adding, and you will just easily find the sum in just no time. So you can also use Python for your, a Python list for your for summation, to find the maximum number, to find the minimum number, and also to find its sum. I hope you remember these three functions: minimum, maximum, and sum, and these are really important and crucial. Now another important thing is that I want to teach about is list comprehension. List comprehension. The approach described earlier for generating the list squares consists of using 3 or 4 lines of code. A list comprehension allows you to generate this same list in just one line of code. A list comprehension combines the for loop and the creation of new elements into one line and automatically appends each new element. List comprehension are not always presented to beginners, but I have included them here because you will most likely see them as soon as you start looking at other people's codes. The following example builds the same list of square numbers used earlier but uses a list of comprehension. Let me just find squares of a list using this command square, and that you just have to put value, and we already discussed that static double static means that for value, and we are going to define range 1 to 13. Okay, we have already discussed that the last number in the range will not be considered. So values will be considered from 1 to 12. So 13 will be excluded. If you want to include 13, then you need to add 14. Okay. This range and these sort of things are already discussed and covered in the previous videos. So do watch if you have confusion. Visit the previous videos. Print squares. So let me just see what happens here. SQUA. I have written the spelling incorrectly. Now just let me just enter it, and you can see that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now if I want to include 13 as well, then I have to add 14 here. And if I want to add 15, then if I want to exclude 2, then I have to start from 2. And here the list will be updated. So I hope it is easy, it is not that difficult. Now if I want to add cube, then what will happen, that I will get a cube of 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, and cube of 3, and cube of 4, cube of 5, cube of 6, and similarly if I add 4, then the list will just increase. So you just need to understand these things, and it's not that difficult, it's easier, quite easier. So just practice and it will get clear to you. Okay, it's not that difficult. Okay, to use this syntax, begin with a descriptive name for the list, such as squares or cube. Next, open a set of squares brackets and define the expression for the value you want to store in the new list. In the example, the expression is value to the power 2, which raises the value to the second power. Then write a for loop to generate the numbers you want to feed into the expression, and close the square brackets. The for loop in this example is for value in range 2 to 10, which feeds the values 1 through 10, 1 through 9 into the expression value to the power 3. Notice that no colon is used at the end of the end for statement. The result is the same list of square numbers as we discussed in the previous videos. So you could use this command, or you could use the previous command we discussed. Now let's talk about working with part of a list. Sometimes you just need to focus on specific part, specific portion of the list, and you just want that part to be displayed, which we call slicing a list, which we call let me just write it for you, slicing a list. And it is clear from the word slice. What does it mean by slice? Now let me just write specific names. Okay, let me write a couple of names: Khan, Bilal, Jawad, and Zakir. Okay, I wrote 4 names, and if I just read just friend names, okay, let me just friend names, and you can see that all the names are displayed. But now I'm interested in what? I'm interested in the slice. I want to display names from what? From 0 to 3. Let me do it. Print from names 0 to 2, let's say. Colon should be used into 2. Yes, and from 0 to 2 we have just Khan and Bilal. And I already told you that in Python 0 is the first number, and Python doesn't consider the first number is considered as 0, and the second is considered as 1. Now if I want to include Jawad as well, then I have to add 3. And if I want to, include all the lists, then I have to add 4. And this is how it, gets, uh, this is how the output is displayed. I hope it is not that difficult, it is easy.